Hi, I'm Starborn. Remember, to be a star, you have to shine your own light, follow your own path, and not be afraid of the darkness, because that's when stars shine brightest. And we are talking about a lot of light in the sky because there is a fabulous lunar eclipse at 14 degrees of Cancer. And if you've been looking at our website, you would understand then that the title of tonight's show is A Failed Fight. And so I strongly urge you, because of the way the planets are placed, don't get in a fight right now. In fact, don't get in one next week either. And the reason why is there's going to be no winners at all. In fact, there could be a failed fight on the one hand, or in something that is a little bit calmer, there could be a defeat of something. But neither one of those things sound too hopeful, do they? There can be good reasons for that occurring right now, though. And the reasons why is because some planets have changed signs. And when they do that, there is a dynamic set up right now that is extremely harsh. And that is because there are 7 out of the 10 planets, 70% of all the planets, are in a harsh T-cross among the cardinal signs. And Capricorn, where the full moon lunar eclipse is a cardinal sign. And that sign is absolutely loaded. And that is because, yes, the full moon is in Capricorn, but so are Jupiter, Pluto, and now Saturn has left Aquarius and it has returned to Capricorn as well. So these 4 heavy-duty planets under the full moon lunar eclipse in Capricorn are all opposing the Sun and Mercury in Cancer, the sign of the home and the family, whereas Capricorn rules your career and your public reputation, and it rules rewards earned over a long period of time, such as pension plans or retirement funds. Capricorn also rules bureaucracies, and it rules the administrators of them. So it rules management in large corporations or government agencies. So this is where a failed fight might occur among these entities. And the reason why is the 4 planets in Capricorn, which are opposing the 2 in Cancer, are all 6 of these planets are being very harshly challenged by Mars. Mars has now gone into Aries, the sign of new beginnings, and Mars rules Aries. So it is square this full moon lunar eclipse in Capricorn with 4 planets, and it's also square the Sun and Mercury in Cancer. And so since Mars is at home in the sign it rules, rules new beginnings, but Mars is a very aggressive planet. After all, it rules war, and it also rules jealousy and anger and hate and greed. I mean, that's why I'm saying, don't get in a fight with anybody, no matter how you feel. You're really going to have to sort of put a lid on your anger or frustration right now, because it won't do you any good to express it at all. And that is because that failed fight can be due to some sort of very careful analytical review, like a critical review of perhaps people in upper management in corporations or government agencies. And this review could be painstaking. It may also reveal, after the review is over, that there can be a failed fight because something has turned out to be illegal or very un-American, something that really goes against America's values. And so what would ensue is a failed fight. In other words, people may have thought that they were fighting for some cause, but it's going to end up as a failure upon critical review. And it might be because of something illegal. And so, why should it succeed if it's illegal? Maybe a few people took a few shortcuts. Who knows? The other thing that can occur right now could be something that is a little bit more modest. It could involve a defeat. And that is because there can still be some organization, or there can be some group that has well-intentioned plans, but before they can get to those plans, there's always some sort of uproar, or there can be a time when people are gathering together and everyone is expressing their views, making a lot of noise, and no one is listening. No one is really sitting down and talking or trying to solve problems. So there can be a defeat because of that, because solving a problem means that you do calm down and you don't fight. Instead, you sort of compromise in order to get to a solution. And also there could be a defeat because of plans that have to be postponed. And they may have to be postponed out of necessity. What could those necessities involve? Well, how about your job, or your health, or your family, or your long-term security? There can be some really good reasons why you have to sort of put something up on the shelf and maybe get to it later. And that's because you do have good intentions, but darn it, you still have to put food on the table. So this is a time when something could get postponed, and that represents some sort of defeat now, but it may not actually represent a total failure either. So you have to be a little bit careful about that. The reason why we know a lot of truth is going to be coming out is because the Sun and Mercury in Cancer, which rules our home and our family and women's issues and our feelings, are being trined by Neptune in Pisces. And Neptune rules Pisces. It's very strong there. So there can be some charity and forgiveness, but there can also be the revelation of some hidden secrets that upon critical review end up showing us that something has been illegal or un-American. And that is why there could be a failed fight going on. In other words, something's really going to get stopped cold. And in fact, since the lunar eclipse is in Capricorn, and Capricorn rules the mountains and the cold, you can see that there's a lot of people that are going to be very practical right now. And I don't think there isn't anybody that's going to get around practical, logical facts. And that is because the 4 planets in Capricorn, the Moon, Jupiter, Pluto, and now Saturn, the ruler of Capricorn, are being beautifully trined by Uranus in Taurus. That is 5 planets in the practical, realistic earth signs. And they are also all trining the sign of Virgo, which rules our health and our jobs and accountability. So somebody's reputation is on the line somewhere. And either they're going to sort of pass a test or they're going to fail it. And it's looking to me, with these 7 planets in such a harsh T-cross, that there's going to be a failure instead. Someone is not really going to make it, because upon examination, there's no real good reason for them to make it. Perhaps they've sort of taken a few shortcuts, and that's why they're going to fail. And so we just have to be a little bit more realistic about things. The other thing that we have to really watch out for is the fact that people can be under tense situations right now. And that is why you only should not fight with anybody. You should sort of watch your back a little bit right now. And that is because not only are there 5 retrograde planets, which slow things down a lot right now, indicating delay. We certainly have had a lot of that this year. But these 7 planets in cardinal signs are just too much to overcome. And so even though Mars in Aries is at home in the sign it rules, it's coming up against a brick wall under this lunar eclipse. So even people with a lot of experience, it's going to be very difficult to make a new beginning. And so Mars is in its own sign, Aries, and Saturn is now in its own sign, Capricorn, and they are squaring each other along with Jupiter and Pluto, and they will continue to do that for the rest of the year until December. So there are some people that are just real heavy hitters right now, And if you don't want to be one, then you should really stay away from those people. Okay, what does this mean to all 12 of the sun signs? Well, Aries. At least there's one planet in a fire sign this week. Last week there weren't any. But it's Mars in your own sign. But there's no support for that Mars, Aries. That's why it's you that better not get in a fight. And also, since it's your own ruler in your sign, you're going to be sort of all revved up and ready to go and want to do things your own way. But boy, are you going to meet resistance right now. And in fact, no matter how hard you try to get a new beginning off the ground, I think the best you can hope for is some sort of defeat which postpones your plans, or else there's going to be a failed fight. In other words, if you want to fight about something, it's going to fail, Aries. And so you need to be really careful and sort of, just try to wind down a little bit and try not to voice your opinion on things, because you will meet cold resistance from a lot of people, both at home and in your career. So I guess this just isn't the time for you to march forward, even though I think you feel like it, Aries. The timing is not right. So I hope you are as quiet as you can be right now. Okay, what does it mean to a Taurus? Well, Taurus, this is a time that is extremely good for you, and it's good for all the earth signs, because after all, there's already 4 planets in Capricorn: the full moon lunar eclipse, Jupiter, Pluto, and Saturn, the ruler, and they are all trining Uranus in your own sign, Taurus. Ooh, lucky you. So even though Uranus is a planet of volatility, it's not hurting you very much right now, I don't think, because during the spring, when Saturn was in Aquarius squaring that Uranus, there were some nasty financial surprises in one way or another. But that time can be passing, and you may not encounter that too much any longer this year. And also, the Sun and Mercury in Cancer are sextiling your Sun, and the Moon and all 4 planets in Capricorn are trining your Sun. This really gives you a green light, Taurus, and it may give you a green light for the whole rest of the year. And so you really need to just knuckle under, work really hard, particularly with your hands. In other words, do the work yourself. It might take longer, but it could give you pride in your accomplishments, and it also can build a real good reputation for you, that you're not afraid of hard work. So I think that you're going to get some sort of green light. You have tremendous support from people who have a lot of authority right now, and they may be able to help you either right now or later on this year. So that's why you got to hang in there and do your best. Okay, what does it mean to a Gemini? Well, Gemini, Venus is still in your sign, and the good news is it's now direct. And so that simply can make you more charming, Gemini. Isn't that nice? In fact, it's going to stay in your sign until early August. But it isn't trining anything anymore. There's only one planet in an air sign, and it's in your sign. And so you too have got to rely a little bit more on gentle pressure to succeed. That Mars in Aries, though, is sextiling Venus in your own sign. It's not hurting you at all. And in fact, the Sun and the Mercury in Cancer are also right ahead of your Sun sign, which means that there is the possibility that you can be a little bit more involved in home or family matters or a real estate issue, and that you should devote yourself to that, Gemini, particularly since Venus is in your sign. If you've been sort of scratching your head and trying to figure out when to go forward with a fond dream of yours, now's the time, Gemini, because things will still, with 5 retrograde planets, they'll still be delayed. So I would take advantage of having Venus in your sign, and also the Sun and Mercury, your own ruler in Cancer, right ahead of your Sun sign. So those are very positive things. Another very positive thing is that the Sun in Cancer is at 14 degrees or 13 degrees. And that is the degree of the United States Sun. But Venus in your own sign, Gemini, at 7 degrees is on the exact degree of the U.S. ascendant. So you have very good planets sort of in the right place right now. And so very quietly, I think you should sort of go forward and work with others. Remember, Venus rules partnership and the law and legal contracts and compromise and negotiation. So why don't you sort of go for that? And if nothing else, you should be very creative right now. Okay, what does it mean to a Cancer? Well, Cancer, this is a time when you can feel as if, you know, the world is coming at you with all kinds of rules and regulations, and oh boy, you may not be in the mood for that, but you will have to comply. And the reason why is because the full moon lunar eclipse in Capricorn, with 4 planets there, including your own ruler, the moon, are all opposing your sun sign, where you have the sun and Mercury. And that isn't all, Cancer. Mars in Aries is squaring your sun, and Mercury as well. You have to watch out for someone who's either very greedy or very vindictive or just plain angry at the world, and try not to be around them because they could take their anger out on you, Cancer. So this is a time when you need to calm down and be a little bit more defensive and sort of keep your guard up right now, because it could be something that's even just coming at you too fast, like a very fast car. Or there could be the possibility of some sort of accident, or something that's made to look like an accident, but it's intentional. That could happen as well. So really keep your defenses up and don't take any chances, at least for the next week, if you can, Cancer. Okay, what does it mean to a Leo? Well, Leo, this is a time when you can be sort of feeling as if you're pressured to do something. And the reason why is that Mars in Aries is trining your sun. Well, that's wonderful. That can sort of fill you up with energy. But it's actually going to be somebody else's energy because it's coming from Aries. And so it can be that there is somebody who is sort of pushing you to do their bidding, or to start something new, and you might agree or disagree. It could be that if you have been stalling on something, but somebody else is sort of very energetic and ready to start something, you might want to listen to them on that, Leo. But if somebody is sort of trying to manipulate you, or maybe outshout you in some way in order to get you to do their bidding, or even worse, if they're using you to be their audience so that they're in the spotlight but you're not, then that is not going to work out for you at all. So you need to be careful about that. However, you're pretty lucky right now, Leo, and the reason why is that the Sun and Mercury in Cancer are right behind your sun sign. So there's a lot of light in the background of your life. And it is centered around your feelings and your home and your family and perhaps a real estate issue. And that can all be very positive. The planets in Cancer are being trined by Neptune in Pisces. So I would say that, you know, try not to get swept up in too many things right now, Leo, and instead just try to relax a little bit more if you can and take it easy, because it's going to be a pretty nice summer for you, I think. Okay, what does it mean to a Virgo? Well, Virgo, this is a wonderful lunar eclipse for you, just like Taurus, because the 4 planets in Capricorn trine your sun sign. So that's the Moon, Jupiter, Pluto, and Saturn in Capricorn trining your sun sign, and Uranus in Taurus is also trining your sun sign. 5 planets in the practical earth signs, urging you to get real practical about something. Remember, a defeat is possible if people with good intentions have to sort of postpone them for a little while in order to get back to the basic necessities like their job or their health or their family concerns. I mean, sometimes you just got to do that first. And the emphasis really is on practicality and on long-term rewards, such as a pension plan or retirement plan. And so all of those things benefit you. Because there are so many planets in Capricorn trining your sun, there is an indication that the higher ups are looking very favorably upon you, Virgo. And it may be that you are going to get some sort of wonderful recognition, which you richly deserve, as you head into the fall and really come into your own. Congratulations. Okay, what does it mean to a Libra? Well, Libra, this is a time that is not going to be easy for you. And the reason why is that there's just too many things that can go wrong. And that is why you should go on vacation, Libra, if you can. And the reason why is that there are 7 planets in the cardinal signs, and yours is a cardinal sign, but it's the only one that doesn't have a planet in it. And that means that the anguish of this harsh T-cross in cardinal signs is pouring unrestricted, all of it, into your sign. That makes life a little hard for you right now, Libra. And that's because, Mars in Aries, which is so aggressive, is opposing your sun sign. Your sun sign is ruled by Venus, and Venus rules love, and Mars rules war. I mean, these two things are not getting along at all. So there is the possibility that there can be a partnership problem, and it isn't one that you have made, it's one that the partner is making. And I just urge you not to get in a fight. At least, postpone it. Or if you do get into a fight, it will be due to some sort of very careful re-examination of somebody's record. And it could be that there is something illegal or un-American going on, but I still urge you not to fight right now, because neither you nor anyone else can win right now. And that is because, on top of that, the 4 planets in Capricorn under the lunar eclipse are all squaring your sun, and the sun and Mercury in Cancer are also squaring your sun. You need to step back, or even better yet, Libra, sort of disappear. And that's why I'm saying go on vacation. Take a breather. You will be glad you did, because there isn't anything too friendly out there for you right now, so don't engage. And if you have to, develop a strategy of turning your back so that you do not participate in something you can't possibly win. Just cool it for a while. Okay, what does it mean to a Scorpio? Well, Scorpio, the sun and Mercury in Cancer are trining your sun sign, and Neptune, the ruler of Pisces, is also trining your sun sign. That's pretty good, particularly for finding out what's going on behind the scenes, or finding out if there's any hidden activities or covert activities going on. And also it's pretty good for home and family matters as well, or some sort of real estate issue that you've got your mind on, so that would be good. The lunar eclipse actually does benefit you, Scorpio, but it benefits you sort of in a sideline sort of way. And by that I mean the moon, Saturn, Pluto, and Jupiter in Capricorn all sextile your sun. That is very good. That means somewhere in your life there is some pretty good support for what you are wanting to do. But it can be questionable as to whether you start doing something right now or not. New starts are not favored now at all. And that's because they're ruled by Aries, and that Mars in Aries is caught up in these 7 planets that are fighting each other, promoting fights from other people as well. So Scorpio, you're under pretty good aspects, but I would say it would be better for you to quietly go about your business right now, sort of learning what's going on behind the scenes, or paying attention to your family needs as well, but not making a lot of waves right now. And if I were you, if you're going to make a new beginning, it better be real quiet and very slow. There's 5 retrograde planets. Nothing's going to happen fast anyway. So just take the load off. It's summertime, Scorpio. What does it mean to a Sagittarian? Well, Sagittarius, this is a time when you can be somewhat relieved And the reason why is that Mars has been in Pisces squaring your sun sign for a while, and it has moved on. It's gone into Aries now, and now it's trining your sun sign Sagittarius. That's better for you. It means that there are not people that want to actually stab you in the back right now or lie to you the way there have been, but instead there can be people that want to make a new start and want to include you in it in one way or another. And you might listen to that. I don't think a new start has too much of a chance of getting off the ground successfully right now. But yours is a very intelligent sign, and you may want to develop a plan. Well, that takes time. Or you may want to research additional facts, something like that. So maybe you should look something over a little bit more carefully before you decide if you want to make a new start. I don't think this is the time to actually jump in. But it doesn't hurt to find out about it, Sagittarius. It might do you some good. And you really are aspected to make a new start at the end of the year when there's a fabulous solar eclipse in your sign in December. Okay, what does it mean to a Capricorn? Well, Capricorn, this is a time when, there's a lot of light on you, Capricorn, because that full moon is in your sign. It's a lunar eclipse, and Jupiter, Pluto, and Sagittarius Jupiter, Pluto, and Saturn are all in your sign as well. This is probably a time, Capricorn, when you're really ready to face the nitty-gritty. In other words, to be very practical, not only about your current interests, but your long-term aims or your long-term security. You should do that. You should concentrate on business, Capricorn. And that means that you may have to work a little bit harder on your career than on your home life. You may have to sort of juggle a few things right now because there's so much strength in Capricorn, and all the planets in your sign are trining Taurus and Virgo, which means the more practical you are, the more economical you are. In other words, if you could save a little bit more money now, that would be a good idea, because then you'd have it for later. So this is just a time when I think that, if done in a selfish way, but you really should postpone some things, and you might consider that a defeat, but you really need time to sort of marshal your forces and plan and think and look at what's affordable. That's enough to do. Okay, what does it mean to an Aquarian? Well, Aquarius. The good news is, Aquarius, that something pretty bad that happened to you this spring is fading away. Oh, congratulations. You made it through a tough time, Aquarius, because Saturn is no longer in your sign. It has gone into Capricorn, where it's a lot happier because it rules that sign. And it's not squaring Uranus and Taurus anymore, causing you financial problems. It's actually trining Uranus and Taurus now, along with all the planets, other planets in Capricorn. So I would say that now you get a little breather. Now you could think about the future, but first of all, I think you have to recover from the recent past when you have been under a tremendous amount of stress, Aquarius. And so with Venus in Gemini, direct and trining your sun, this is a good time for you to take a short trip or a little vacation, or just do something fun, or do it with younger people who are generally a lot of fun anyway. So I would just relax and sort of put my feet up right now if I were you, Aquarius, and pat yourself on the back a little bit for making it through a very stressful time that will not occur again this year quite the same way. And in fact, I don't think you have too much to worry about until next year. Okay, what does it mean to a Pisces? Well, Pisces, this is a time when, lucky you get to sit on the sidelines a little bit, unless you make a huge mistake and decide to really jump into some new beginning. Don't do that, Pisces. And the reason why is that a new beginning isn't going anywhere. And there is, under this lunar eclipse in Capricorn, going to be a failed fight. In other words, people could be fighting, but the whole thing's going to fail. And that is because there's going to be facts come out that are irrefutable. They'll stand the test of truth right now. And so Don't jump into anything right now since Mars is right ahead of your sun sign. Instead, hold back a little bit and enjoy the summer holidays with your family if you can, because the Sun and Mercury are trining your sign. And that's pretty favorable for just enjoying your home and your family. That's all you need to do right now, Pisces. You don't need to take on something new right now. Wait until the dust settles first. All right. Thanks so much for tuning in. Remember, you can see the show and read our blog on our website, starborninstitute.org. Bye.